Okay, hello. We're going to do the Back to the Future connections with the Kerrville um, flooding event. Okay. Oh, I'm going to be all over the place as usual with this video. Uh, there's some really good connections in this. So if you bear with me, it's definitely worth watching this video. I know I can get a bit um, sidetracked on a lot of these things, but just bear with me, and this will become very interesting to do with Back to the Future for sure. Okay, Einstein in Back to the Future, the dog. Okay, right, what's the connection here? Look at this dude here. He is a dog that looks a bit. I mean, the dog obviously is the wolf, but he does look a bit wolfy, doesn't he? And if we go to where the flooding took place, the river, the name of the river where the flooding took place, the Guadalupe, is the River of the Wolf. Translate the Spanish word there. Okay, so it's the River of the Wolf. There's also this connection with the Virgin Mary, which is super duper interesting because what we're really talking about here is a reset. We're talking about coming out of the matrix, okay, into or back to or resetting. So this would be a rebirth of Mary, okay, the metaphysical side of reality. Okay, so this is interesting. There's this connection to the Virgin Mary with this as well. Anyway, the wolf, the River of the Wolf. So here is the wolf that we're going to be looking at. Okay, now if you watched, I had a previous little decode. I was just talking about something that I noticed, which was the fact that the area that this was in, let's see now, let's find, here we go, there's a picture of it. So this is the area where the flooding took place, and in fact, if this thing would ever work, maybe it stopped working now, great, just handy. Okay, so the place where actually, the flood warnings were for was well, blooming hell, I meant to just do a circle there, this thing's not very good. Anyway, we're talking about Kerrville, which is down here, and they also mentioned Mason here. Now, what is interesting, and of course, these two places are also the counties. So this is somewhere here is Mason County, and obviously this is the outline of Kerr County. Okay, so Kerr County, so Kerr and Mason. Okay, and the connection was to these two things was to this. Okay, which is the canning jar. Okay, Kerr, and these are Mason jars. Okay, Kerr was a brand that was, I guess, bought up by Mason at some point in time. Okay, you can kind of see a can here, and in fact, if you were to read the bottom of this, it would say Mason across the bottom as well. We can probably find one. The reason why I had this up is because it's difficult to actually see it on these glass canning jars. You can't hardly make it out in the pictures. Can we find one very quickly, Daniel? Come on. Not really, very easily. No, this, I mean, I've got to take this thing off. Hang on. Let's see if we can see this a little bit better. Not really. But anyway, actually, I think that one's actually a Bull and Mason, maybe. Anyway, Kerr, Bull, and Mason canning jars. Okay. Now, the reason why I bring up this canning jar is because we have this connection back to Einstein the dog, okay, at the start of Back to the Future, okay, when Marty first comes into Doc's garage here. Right before Marty comes into Doc's garage, we see this can of dog food being opened. Okay, so the canning jar is essentially a glass version of a tin can. Okay. Anyway, the food is opened, which is the dog food. As you can see, cow can on the side of the dog food there. We've talked about this before with the symbolism with the Hoover Dam and everything. The shield there, which is which is the dam, the face of the dam and everything. Anyway, this thing is getting tipped out. Okay, slop. The can is being tipped out. Okay, this is the same as in, I've got a picture of it up. The same as in The Matrix, where Neo is in the pod. This is the can, and he is about to exit the can here. Okay, right? So this is the can being opened, so to speak. And he's going to get flushed down some tubes just like he's going into the sewer system, right? So a couple of things. The can is another term. Yeah, is can slang for toilet? Yes, can is indeed slang for toilet according to AI. Okay, so the can. Now you recall when Einstein, the dog, makes his little trip, the first time travel trip. Doc says when this baby hits 88, you're going to see some serious shit. Yeah. Now, the idea of opening up the can, this rebirth, is coming out of that. We've kind of gone, this is a bit crude, but we've kind of gone into the wrong hole. Rather than being within the context of the divine metaphysical, the holy womb, what we've gone into is the what would you say, the a-hole. Okay, and so when you come back out of that a-hole, a whole load of crud is going to come out with it, the shit. Yeah. So anyway, again, when we see the dog food coming out, we'll get onto that one in a minute. When we see the dog food coming out, it looks like a pile of shite, to put things mildly. Okay, so this is the meat. This is us being born, us coming back out of the tin can or the canning jar. Okay, the containment system that we're in. As I mentioned before, those jars or cans have a vacuum. Actually, the canning jar creates a vacuum inside there. Yeah, the vacuum is the Hoover Dam, the vacuum. Okay, the void. Okay, so we're getting these ideas. So we've gone from where the flood. What am I clicked on here? Oh, here's a bigger picture of it. We've gone from. Actually, that was a better one. Excuse me. We've gone from the Kerr and the Mason jar, the Kerrville Mason thing, and we've made this connection with the can, the tin can, however you want to look at it, and we've gone to this scene where the tin can is emptied in Back to the Future, yeah, with the dog on it, the wolf, the Guadalupe. Okay, this is the flood right here, this thing breaking open and a flood ensuing. Okay, I think it's actually we're going to be, this is a course, it's the same reference for the Hoover Dam, right? So let's look up just a couple of things to do with the tin can and the mason jar, right? Okay, here's the dude, right, that invented the tin can, Peter Durand. Peter Durand. Okay, let's look at the date of his patent Yeah, because we're dealing with, oh, I don't know, an inventor, aren't we? Like Doc is an inventor. So we're going to look at the patent date. Oh dear. So in that scene where Marty enters Doc's garage, remember the clocks are actually supposed to be on 8:25. Okay, so this is well interesting right here, and the 181 numerology we're going to get into in just a second. Note the date here. This is the Hoover, or I should say the hoverboard scene in Back to the Future 2, which relates to the Hoover Dam. The Hoover, the hover. Yeah, the clock tower has a bloody Great Lake in front of it. Well, it's not a Great Lake, but it's a very large pond in front of it, right? A reference to Lake Mead. And to top things off, this dude here, looks like his death date is room 237. Okay. Again, there is a connection back with The Shining to the Hoover Dam, and actually to the Colorado River, because we have the River of Blood, the color red river, okay, the Colorado, in that film, which is again a reference, I believe, to the Hoover Dam. And the room 237 is the room that you don't enter. Okay, it looks like the divine goddess, but it ends up being the old hag. Okay, and where is it? It's the bathroom, the toilet, the can. Okay, room 237. Oh dear, room 237. So this guy's got some loaded numbers. Very interesting. Obviously, there's some other tie-ins with the numerology here as well, and Back to the Future with the 121. Einstein's trip back has the 121 encoded in it as well, and obviously 121 encodes our date that we're going to be looking at in a minute as well. The 1.21 gigawatts as well encodes our date of 9/1, which is 244 days into the year, 121 days left. Okay, so that's important, the 121. Okay, so let's keep making our way through this. Let's just quickly do this dude here. This is the inventor of the mason jar, John Mason. Okay, and look at the patent date for his patent on the mason jar. Okay, again, we've got the 30th of November, which is the Great Scott, St. Andrew's Day. Okay, which also ties in with the other Great Scott, the Great Scott of Edinburgh, which is St. Giles, which is our 9/1, September the 1st date that we're looking at. Oh dear, so two Great Scots there tying in, okay, with Back to the Future. Again, 1858, yeah, 1985 is our is Marty's home base date. Okay, 1985, when the film comes out. Okay, so let's look at a number jump right here with this. Okay, the date of the patent for the mason jar through to 9/1. Lo and behold, yet another palindromic number, and it's 60906. Yes, Michael J. Fox's birthday, yeah, is 6/9, the 9th of June. Okay, so this is pretty darned interesting as well, with the idea of rebirth and this coming out of the jar, and Michael J. Fox, who is Marty, coming out of the jar, okay, or the tin can, or whatever you want to, the containment pod, so to speak. Okay, what else have I got in here? Because I'm forgetting stuff already. Okay, so back to the whole thing. I just want to mention a couple more things, actually. The first thing to mention before we get onto this, though, seeing as I've just mentioned the number jump with 9-1, okay, what we have to remember is what we've been talking about with the 9-1. I could just write it right here with the 9-1, okay, is that this is a mirror, okay. So if I do a mirror of a, well, that's not really the right way to do it. Well, okay, pi, yeah, let's mirror it, okay. Pi is a mirror of 1/9, okay. This is, depending on how you want to write the date, 1/9, okay. In the normal part of the world, where we go from smallest to largest, it's going to be 1/9. In America, it's 9/1, okay. I think that's done deliberately though to make more numbers work, so that more numbers kind of tie in together. If you can get what I'm saying there. Anyway, so pi is our connection to this date here, pi. Now, the dog, Einstein in Back to the Future, so the Guadalupe, the wolf connection with Einstein. Einstein, the scientist now. Let's see if I can find Einstein, the scientist in here. Here we go. What's this? No, it's going to be on Wikipedia. Oh, maybe I don't have it up here. Here we are. Einstein's birthday is pi, okay, 314, the numbers of pi, okay. Now let me show you something else that's interesting here, okay, because when this tips out, it tips out into Einstein's bowl, this dog food, okay. Come on, where we got the big slop of come on down. Okay, there's the big slop into Einstein's bowl. So a pi reference, yeah. The dog reference, the wolf reference. Check this clock out. Okay. Note that the 12 o'clock is down here where my cursor is, and then we've got 6 o'clock up here. So where we're looking at with the hands here, it's blurred, it's difficult to see, but this is in the 9 o'clock hour right here. So what I've got is I've got the interactive clock up, the toy theater clock, okay, and I've kind of put those hands where I think they are. They are somewhere right here. Yeah, 951, 950, 949, but I'm thinking maybe it is this, the 950, okay, the 9-5 numerology, or we're in the 9 o'clock hour and we've got the minute hand is on the 10. We have 9-10 referenced or 9-1 referenced with the numerology there as well. So I'm wondering if that is just yet another connection to pi right there. And of course our 90,000, I gotta get that memorized. 90,000 whatever 915 numerology date that takes us from the beginning of the United States through to 9-1. Should I just put that in a number jump real quick so you can see it? Let's come up here with a clean. Let's just do it real quick so we can just see that connection. What do we want? 7, 4, 1776 through to 9-1. And we've got the end date. So it's 91,005. 91,005 days. I don't know why I can't just remember that. 915 numerology for this date through to, yeah, Labor Day. Don't forget, this is all about going into labor, okay, and giving birth. We've got the Virgin Mary there, the virgin birth, unfortunately the camp mystic, again with the mystic being the metaphysical, yeah, connected to the Holy Spirit connected to connected to the Virgin Mary. Okay, and again, it was a camp for girls. So we've got young girls at that camp. Okay. Oh dear. So the Virgin connection again, right? Let me show you a few other connections here. What else have I got up here? Let's have a look, because I know I've forgotten a couple of things. Oh, this was, so again, the county is Kerr County, yeah? Okay, so this is their town hall-y type place, you know, city hall. Typical, well, I say typical, but not so typical, but, you know, just a building, kind of fairly plain, right? If we look at Mason counties now, it's very interesting. The Mason County, yeah, the Sons of May again. Remember the Masons, the Sons of May, the Sons of Mary. Okay. Again, look at this with the clock tower, yeah. Oh, I've got the clock tower up in Back to the Future here somewhere, don't I? Yeah. The clock tower, yeah. The clock tower, the night of the thunderstorm. What produced these floods was the thunderstorms. Okay, and I believe it was as a result of, from, we might find it in a minute, from maybe Tropical Storm Barry or something like that. Barry. Remember I did the Barry Lyndon decode, which took us to the 9-1. We had the Temple of Diana in that as well. Okay, so it's not a typical. This is not every single county hall or city hall looks like this. Town hall, whatever you want to call it. It's not really, to be quite honest, at least around my neck of the woods, it's not that common to see that building. You might see more likely to see like a post office or something, or just a bank in that sort of Greco-Roman temple style than actually the city hall. But anyway, so that actually brings me on to the fact that I want to go back to talking about, and notice they've got the clock tower. They've actually got a clock on this one as well. This is pretty interesting. So we have that with the Mason thing. I want to go to the night of the thunderstorm, because we're going to pick some numbers out here with this that ties us back into the warning, the issues of the flood and everything. So let's get on. This is what we want, the Wikipedia. So the first thing to note is that, oh yeah, Tropical Storm Barry, okay, and thunderstorms stalled over Texas, causing heavy rains, flooding, yada yada yada. So the first thing to note is the time at which the CDT, what are you talking about? The time, CDT, whatever that stands for, whatever time zone that is, Central something time. So the time at which the Weather Service, I guess, issued the warning, flood watch for Kerr County, occurred on July the 3rd, which was, and this is so important with the connection back with Einstein now, the dog. July the 3rd was the 40th, get to the point, 40th anniversary of the release of Back to the Future. So this 118 is super duper important with the connection to Einstein and pi. Let me show you. So the first thing is the 118, if we look at when, so the first time travel jump is Einstein. Okay, I don't know why this is reversed for whatever reason, this video, back to the mirror. So they've got this number reversed. It should just be reading 118. This is right before, in fact, this is Einstein right here. This is right before Einstein's going to make the jump, yeah? Doc is synchronizing the clocks. 1:18. Okay, now why is this important? Let me show you the night of the thunderstorm now. So it ties us back with the issue of the warning. Again, right here in this, let me put the marker on. Right here in this scene, yeah, we've got the standard 911 decode right here. Okay, that's the standard 911, right? We've also got the symbol for pi right here. Okay, so we've got pi written right here, but what we also have, let's get rid of that again, is Doc's car is a Packard 8. Doc's car is the Packard 8, which gives us the 811 or 118 reference right here. Okay, super duper important. So there is our 118 connection. Connects back to pi, obviously. It connects to a whole bunch of other stuff which we're not going to delve into right now. I've mentioned before, but there is our pi 118 reference, and so we see that with this right here, with these numbers right here. Okay, now the flood occurs on the 4th. Okay, and or look, here we go again with the 114. Yeah, on the 4th, flash flood warning. Okay, and the first flash flood warning is issued out. We've got the same numerology kind of here as well, with the 11:41 p.m. on the 3rd. So if you're looking at this, you can see already. I know people are shouting at the screen saying, "Dan, the CRM 114 or 114 on the speaker." Okay, what have I got here? Hang on a minute. Let me show you. Let's go to this as well, because there might actually, I think there is something interesting about the one. I'm going to show you this as well, because we have the primary here, the primary, yeah, just like so we have the connection to Mary, the first Mary, and let's see if I can get a picture of the. Well, let's see if we can get it. Come on, Dan. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, here we go. The driver, yeah, the river, yeah, and then it's yeah, there it is as well. Overdrive as well, yeah. Primary driver, the first Mary, which would be the Virgin Mary river driver. Okay, anyway, you kind of get the idea, but somewhere on here we should be seeing the CRM one. Well, I can't find it, you know, I don't want to spend hours looking for it, but on it, oh, it's right underneath here, right? There's the key going in. Let's see, there's the CRM 114. Christ Mary 114, okay? But yeah, it's just, this is the wrong thing. It's just well interesting, isn't it? Okay, just super duper interesting. For Hunt, you know what? I'm just trying to think if there was a. Hang on a minute. What am I thinking here? I was just thinking about these. The Hunt's interesting as well, with the connection to, obviously, me being English, the Hunt being connected to fox hunting. So we've got this Michael J. Fox connection. I know that's a bit of a loose one with the Hunt, but that also connects to St. Giles as well, because he protects his little deer, okay, from being hunted, from the hunt. So I don't know, so the hunt idea is pretty interesting. I was actually trying to think if there was I feel like there might have even been a clock that references that in here. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I feel like there was a clock that referenced the hunt. I'll have to go back through all these clocks. Probably just imagining it. Anyway, I really think I've done everything here. So there's just a ton of little connections there. I think we've got the numbers for pi on the clock for the 9-1. Of course, any other the other numerology around that ties in with 9-10 ties in with Madonna, with Guy Ritchie, which then ties back to 9-1 numerology. Oh, and yeah, the very final thing to remember about this as well is, of course, from previous decodes, is our 9-1 date is right here, but you can't. Well, there's a couple of you can just get the 9-1 right here. Okay, that's kind of pretty obvious, but the end of the line, when this comes through, back it up. When we first see it, I've got to turn this thing. Oh well, will it do it? It's not wanting to do it. Hang on. When the line first comes through, look, we're connecting up with the 9 here. The end of the line is connecting up with the 9 of the Western Auto, and then as we go through to right here, it's coming over to a pole that you really can't see. It's an electric pole right here. Actually, it's got the double cross on it, or it might be a telephone pole, electric pole, and we've also got the barber pole there as well, which is also connected. We've got the barber shop, which is again connecting to the number 1. It's a number 1 essentially. It's the phallic symbolism right there. So yeah, there's your 9-1 is the end of the line. Okay, we see that earlier on, and we can make that out easily earlier on in the scene when Doc's talking about the actual lightning coming down the line. Okay, that's it. I think we've covered everything. The toilet, the can. So we're coming out of the can. The canning jar is the matrix that we're stuck in, and there's going to be a big old turd done, and we're coming out in that pile of shite that's all going to wash away. Okay, and what that will do, basically, we're emptying the trash can, we're emptying the womb of the old hag, coming back out of that thing. When you go into the hall with the old what you do with the whore, when we go into that thing, metaphorically speaking, okay, we've got to get back out somehow. The dam is we're stuck the wrong side of the chastity belt. Okay. Yeah, I'm leaving it there because otherwise I'll just keep waffling on. Okay, I think I covered everything. Surely I've forgotten something. Oh dear. It's just those connections to the canning jar. Alright, thanks for watching. Yeah, 9-1. Hoover Dam. We'll see. Okay. Right, bye.